Hey, and welcome to the Killer Be Killed podcast. I am Damian with Josh and George, and thank you, Clayton, for joining us. Clayton's he's tuned in, but he's rolling out now, so can't respond. All right, brother. Yeah, we will enjoy it, but great to have you here. And interesting week. Lots of stuff to talk about. You guys, Josh, you're saying you're on camp detail this week?
Yeah. So got a youth camp going on. So just chaperoning, and I told them I had to peel off to do the podcast because this is important, at least to me.
Now, is it a sleepover camp?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
They're doing 4 nights. So
nice. And you said they're doing shooting, fishing.
Yeah, shooting, fishing, axe throwing, cooking, a bunch of other stuff. I don't know. There's like a huge list. And that's just for tomorrow. And then we're going to Six Flags on Thursday after we go to the Mormon temple, do some stuff there. And then Friday we're going on a hike, and then Saturday we pack up and head out.
Awesome. George, what are you up to, man?
I've been battling a damn coon on my roof.
I'm
Remember
sorry?
I told you that battling a coon that I've got on my roof. It's living in the soffits up there.
That's raccoon?
That's a raccoon.
Okay, all right.
A raccoon with 2 babies. Remember I told you something I chewed through? Yeah,
very
that was chewed through last week. Got a couple raccoon. I got a raccoon with a couple babies up on the roof, living in the soffits. We're trying to get it fucking down, and yeah, it's like a little Houdini keeps escaping from us.
Now, obviously, you don't want to. You want to relocate the
the
animals. No, you don't.
No. So I think what's going to end up happening is one of those like wildlife rescues is going to hopefully come and deal with it. So we don't have to, because Mom's a little pissed off.
Yeah, right. I would imagine. So you got some dude with like big leather gauntlet gloves going up there and just kind of wrangling them and putting them in a.
But those things are like smarter than you would think that they are. It was going up on the roof the other day, going up the ladder, coming back down the ladder.
They're extremely smart. The thing that people don't realize just about animals in general, and I guess most people don't think about it except like people like us, is that we're like the least adaptable thing. I mean, we're the worst in the environment. We're the only creature on the planet that needs to manipulate its environment in order to survive.
We're like, what's the environment? No. We're gonna make it work for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Other than that, like you look at a fish, anything. You're a cat. You throw it outside, it will survive. It will figure out how to find shelter, food, other cats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like no problem. We are the only useless thing that walks on the planet. So like when you see when people talk about intelligence, we often you talk about like consciousness. Well, we really can't measure that. With an animal, I'm sure they're aware, right? They have instinct, but it's really down to they can't manipulate their environment as well as we do. And I'm like, well, the argument is they don't have to, right? It's like that raccoon is like, I'm living here. I can crawl up here. I can open things with my hands. I can do all kinds of little things, and yeah, that's it. They don't, shit. I mean, you're looking at I mean, what we've done to dogs, basically like turning them from wolves to whatever the hell you're looking at now in front of you. So, you know what I mean?
That's a really good point, right? Because like all the other animals, they didn't need to make fire, right? And we did.
No, yeah.
We're like, no, we need fire. We're just gonna destroy everything around us.
Right, everything around us. And if our fire gets out of control,
I love how you talk. Like, I love how you talk about, what we've done to dogs, right? Because I got like my little fucking couch potato just like right beside me here while I'm doing it.
That thing. At one point, that thing was a wolf.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then you look at that and you're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, that's because we got our hands on it in some Victorian,
She got scared of a box rolling by the other day.
So if all dogs were wolves, what the heck happened to like chihuahuas and stuff?
Oh my god! Yeah, right. That took a lot. Go smaller. Hairless. I want the one with the no hair.
Yeah, little Mexican hairless.
I mean, look. I'm gonna tell you. I love dogs, except I don't like whatever size beige curly hair Takapoodle you have. I don't I understand why people get them because they're hypoallergenic. You know, they created these designer dogs for people who have allergies that don't want a dog, don't want it to shed. The problem is, you know, it's different when you have a dog that's made to do something versus a dog that is made to do nothing. You know, it's like I don't want to have a working dog. I don't want to have a herding dog. I don't have a little dog that goes into holes and chases rats. I want something that's just not offensive and, you know, not allergic and not aggressive.
I can carry my purse.
That's right. That's right.
So that's why I'm like, you know, when I see the dogs, and I would say, out of all the dogs I freaking see, you know, there's like, you know, 80% of them are a version of this dog. It's like, you know, that cockapoodle, cockadoodle, doodle, whatever it is. I'm like, bro, you know, I mean, it's not, you know, what's the purpose of this dog other than not to offend? You know, and again,
it's the PC dog.
Yeah,
right.
Oh my god! And another guy who had this hairless thing because his kids were very. I mean, it like touching it felt like, you know, sweaty old man ass. Like it was just ungodly.
And it looked like balls, right? It looked like
The whole thing, it was like touching a scrotum.
That's right.
You know, like, and you're like, and I'm like, I can't. I'm like, and I felt bad for his kids because this is like what you're cuddling with, like an old man's nuts.
The first time I saw a hairless cat, it was my friend's cat, and I was like, "You bought a chupacabra?" What the heck? And they were like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "That's what that is."
Right.
That's a chupacabra.
Right. Yeah, I mean, GR went to I don't know your handle, bro. So GR-WI2NH. Gotta help me. Do you know what that is? Grin to win? I don't know. Anyway, brother, I mean, always seems strange to have me work most of the week just to keep a roof over your head. Right. Yeah, exactly. You know, instead of just, you know, going outside and just like, why do I need all this shit? I mean, so anyway, so the hairless cat, the hairless dog, you know, all this stuff. I'm like, what? I mean, somebody should have stopped somebody at some point. I mean, it's just like, just don't have a dog. If I'm allergic to cats, I'm not going to have a cat. Allergic to dogs, I'm not going to have a dog. I'm allergic to peanuts, I don't eat peanuts. Right? You know,
if you're allergic to peanuts, you force everybody else not to eat peanuts.
That's right.
You force everybody else to have your dog that jumps in. And by the way, those harnesses that you have along your dog's chest they're no good. What do you stop that? Choke collar, prong collar. What are you doing? Right?
I like the chest harness, so
right. But when your dog doesn't listen,
yeah, that's true. That's true. It doesn't do anything.
My dog barely wants to get off the couch, so we're good here.
Yeah, when your dog is like pushing against the chest harness because you're actually activating, it's like,
right.
You know, the fight. It's not you can't do any corrective behavior on the dog.
That's true. You can't. You have to have a dog that's already decent, or just be like, all right, I'm always gonna be dragged by this thing.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, I've got some really nice people that got these two beautiful Malamutes, you know, but they've got clip collar and a chest collar on these fucking, you know, sled dogs. And he sees
that dog's ready to go.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, you just loaded the dog up, and if they see another dog or a squirrel, you gotta watch. Like, they're fighting these things, and it's just like a thing, and they're dog aggressive too. So like, I'll be walking with them, and people will be coming up. I'll be like, no, you know, I'm like, don't do it. You know, and they're aware, and they're aware that their dogs are dog aggressive for sure.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, everybody's kind of cool, but it's like I see it, I'm like, yeah, dude, that's doing nothing to that dog. That dog is just kind of choosing to. I tell you, that thing's probably like 150 pounds, and then like hair and head, and you're like, yeah, man. And there's another dude that's got a kind of Corso. I haven't seen him in a while, but that thing, he's like, he doesn't bring by anybody. I'm like, if you get one of these dogs and you can't train them correctly to live with other dogs and to, operate in, society, like you shouldn't have that freaking dog.
Well, that's exactly what my dog is, a Cane Corso, and you're like exactly what you're saying is true. I mean, 95% of the time she's a fucking potato, right? But that other 5%, if anything triggers her, like holy shit.
Yeah, dude, she's a freaking piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The house hippo, man. She just like runs into walls, putting holes in it, Like,
yeah. But if if you don't, you gotta like have that dog like trained.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
a lot of the breeds require training.
Yes. They're smart, they're assertive, they're
made to work, and if you don't put them to work, they get bored and get distracted.
Yeah.
And they'll push boundaries.
Absolutely, 100%.
Right, dude, like getting a Malinois or a meat missile. You're like, I mean, that thing it's gotta be worked, it's gotta be entertained, it's gotta be had thanks, thanks, man. It has to be, you got a herding dog. I'm like, if you get like a border collie or even an Australian Shepherd, I'm like, dude, if you're not constantly like, especially border collie, like you're not like constantly like working with this thing, don't do it. They need room, they need challenges, they need tasks. I just, we had bull mastiffs, we had boxers, we had bull mastiffs. Really easy. I mean, definitely, you have to, let that thing know that you're in charge and that's it. I mean, it's a big dog, aggressive, intimidating. It is a no jump dog.
Yeah.
If you have one of those that jumps, you're an asshole. I mean, holy crap. The only time I saw the thing get up on a kid was when my son, who's about like in 3rd or 4th grade, he had a couple kids over, and the only kid that he ever tried to mount was the Greek kid. Go figure. But I'm literally standing in my house and I'm looking out the window and I see the dog put his paws on both of the kid's shoulders, and he's like, "Thanks." He's like, "I guess today this is mine." It's like, so I obviously ran out there and corrected him. But it's like, but it was fun. It was like, holy shit. But yeah, man, you take the dogs, we take them, we socialize them, we take them to, see other dogs, we take them to training, we do the whole freaking thing. And because, when you have these, you have these things and you get these cool dogs. And what I liked about that breed is, once they had like an hour's worth of exercise, they were kind of done. Go for a walk, go in the woods, they could go for a while, but then they were smoked. Didn't have to worry about doing anything like that. He would do some tricks, he would do shit like that, but then after that, he just wanted to chill. And
I'm like a golden retriever, which will literally go until its heart explodes.
Right. And I was like, dude, that was like the boxer. The boxer constantly wanted to play. It was like the goofy friend that was just like nonstop, wagging its butt, jumping up and down, going, "Let's go! What are we doing? Let's go! Let's go!" It's like, holy crap, yeah. But I'm like, I'm not doing that again. But yeah, so you're picking your dogs. You're like, and look, I mean, a lot of us, have dogs or had dogs. It's a part of like your home protection plan. I mean, that dog. You got to like, pick your breed. There's a lot of information out there. I mean, and then, figure out like how to, you got to train it.
Yeah. Every dog is not great for every person. That's for sure.
Right. Absolutely. And yeah, person, lifestyle, where you live.
Yeah. The space that you have available for it, everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was funny. I think a buddy of mine years ago, we're like just out of college, wanted to get a dog. And he's like, "I need a dog. I'm away most of the day, but I come home. I like, that I really like to work out and go running. So it would have to live in a confined space and then be able to, like work out and be ready to play." And it turned out to it was like a Portuguese water dog. Because it was like, they're meant to be on ships, they're in confined spaces, and then they can like run around, do shit. And so it was like that kind of worked out for me. He's like, he lived at the beach. He's like, the dog's got to swim, it's got to do some other shit. So it's like, okay, yeah, Portuguese water dog. Like, perfect. There you go. So, but yeah, some people get impressed with how a dog looks, and then and the reputation, and then you're like, oh my god, yeah, I've got Mike Tyson here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you shouldn't, and I mean, that was a big thing with like Dobermans, and then Rottweilers were big.
Yep. And the fucking pit bull thing and
Pit bull thing. Yeah. And I mean, oh man, dude.
So I gotta say, I'm gonna steer us off conversation for a minute because something happened over the weekend here in Montreal, and it's not totally into self-protection, but it does fall into self-awareness and stuff. I don't know if you guys heard about it at all, but there was an event that had fucking big bounce castles out and everything, and kids were in it. They decided to leave it up in a thunderstorm, and a gust of wind. It's not fucking fire. A gust of wind actually took the fucking inflatable with kids in it up almost 40 feet in the air. A 3-year-old girl was killed. And 11 other kids were injured. And it's just like, holy shit. Like, you got young ones, right, Josh? So I mean, could you imagine that?
Now.
Yeah, not that.
But I get it. I get it,
But holy shit.
Yeah. Of all the things to worry about as a parent, but there's one thing, as when you have kids, especially now, not when we all were young or younger. I know you guys are younger than me, but lightning, they kind of were like, okay, if it's stormy, we're gonna get under. If there's lightning, we're gonna kind of get under the band shell or whatever. Just get out of the rain or get under a roof or get off. We knew to get off the field.
Yeah.
But now it's like, especially going through coaching and going through, and having kids and things like that. It's like when you get any type of weather, it's like time to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we got the lightning alarm, and that could be for miles. You may hear the thunder, but the lightning travels sideways and crap. And
lightning. I forget how the distance is. It's 5 or 6 miles it can stretch.
It's crazy. Yeah, you just it's not something that you're like, oh yeah, okay, no problem. We had one of the coaches, one of our high school coaches, the alarm kept going off in practice, so you had someone go up there and just disable it. I'm like, I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know if that's a good idea. He's like Jesus Christ, but so yeah, a wind like that in a bouncing, having that, because I mean all those things are done is they're just staked down.
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
Just to keep it from bouncing over.
Yeah.
I think it's really designed to have it like that. But
yeah, it's basically a sail at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen videos of porta potties getting taken away.
Yeah,
trampolines and crap like that. Yeah. Oh man.
People are stupid.
Well, yeah, but there, you're like, okay, but yeah, thunderstorm, they're probably thinking, oh, it's cute, we can hide in the bouncy castle and wait the storm out. And then,
and then all of a sudden the fucking just wind comes and that was it.
Oh, fuck. That's brutal. So I got something to look at in a couple things. But first one is, what would you do? Here we go. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, all right. I know it said sharing it. Stop. Okay, you guys got that?
Yep. Got it.
So, Frontier flight diverted after passenger allegedly tried to open an exit door. I can't hear. There's no volume on this. There was. So, I mean, let's face it, the right guy for the job is on the plane. He's wearing a jiu-jitsu shirt. So, is he an air marshal? Because he's got cuffs.
I don't know. Maybe. if he is an air marshal, I would expect him to do a little bit more than what he is doing, though. But
I don't know if he. I don't know. No, those aren't cuffs. I don't know what they're restraining. They look like zip tie cuffs. Yeah.
some people just carry them. I've been known to carry them.
Yeah. So, no, watching it's actually not a bad idea. I'm so yeah, I mean, you guys fly, right? You think about it. How many people, I mean, this guy looks like he's a cop. He obviously trains. I mean, you can tell by looking at his ears and his arms, right? So the guys he was training, I mean, thank God for that guy, right?
Yeah.
But we've happened to, I fly, several times a year, and I always thought always enters my head. When you're on a plane, people want to say, oh yeah, thanks, Jerry. We will. So people are on a plane, it's like, oh, I'll kick his ass. But I mean, you gotta be able to do stuff in tight quarters. And if you're gonna restrain somebody, you're gonna have to know, like, at least, I mean, that's why, like, for law enforcement, I'm really big with, people like knowing how to grapple, judo, jujitsu, wrestling. I think it's important for non-lethal restraint.
Yeah.
If you're a civilian and somebody is, going to, take out the foot, trying to open the door on flight. Now, I don't know how easy it is to open a door on a commercial flight.
It's not that hard.
Oh, it's not.
No.
Like, I would think there'd be several steps, and there's nothing.
So I mean, if you've ever sat in the emergency one, it'll show you, right? And you look at the door, and it'll be like, depending on the door, there's one or two little things that you have to do, right? It's usually at least 2 redundancies, sometimes 3 or 4.
Right.
But it's basically like you got to flip a thing and pull a thing and push a thing, right? Or pull out and then push or whatever, right? Depending on the door. And so it's really not that difficult, but there's always at least more than one redundancy. So if like somebody saw him like doing one and then was like, stop him, you know what I mean? So, but I mean, the actual getting the door open is not difficult. They can't have it difficult because in an emergency, anybody has to be able to open it.
So,
yeah.
Here we go. Hold on. Sure, stop instead. Okay, here we go. So, see if this is.
You want to remove this cover, put it down somewhere. Then you're gonna have this. What you want to do? You want to pull down.
Boom. That's it.
Okay, that's the emergency.
Yeah.
See, right now we are here at the EasyJet Training Center where we've got simulators. We've got 2 young people who are taking on an amazing tour of the EasyJet facility.
All right, now let me see.
Everyone should know this information, how to open the overwing exit door in a plane during an emergency.
Okay, we got that. Then how do you open a here? Come on, where are you? All right. 1, 2.
Yeah, there is. Listen, and this flag should be done. Give up your hand. Yes.
Okay, not so hard.
It's not. It's again, it's not hard, especially the emergency ones. Like that guy was in an overwing emergency. It's easy to open.
Yeah. So now you're on a plane. I said if you can't grapple, you don't do anything. You have to either tackle them. Hopefully, other people will grab onto, or you actually knock them the fuck out. I mean, that guy was lucky for him that there was somebody there who could control him.
Yeah.
And the guys probably didn't get hurt at all. I said that's like the advantage is when
Yeah, you probably got like some scrapes from the elastic cuffs or whatever, or not elastic, but the plastic cuffs or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. But
I mean, think about it. You're flying on on something that has got a couple hundred people on it, maybe more, maybe less. Somebody's having a panic attack or having a bad day, or they just who the hell knows, right? So this is what you got to think about. When you're traveling, being aware, paying attention, watching watching how the stewardesses, the what are we calling them, watching how they're reacting. Because if they're they're going to see the stress first, they're going to deal with a customer, a customer that's going to be stressed and trying stuff or acting in a certain way that makes them nervous. And don't be afraid to be like, hey, is everything okay? They're probably first going to tell you, no, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. It's just like, well, if you need any help with anything, just let me know. And then you gotta be on alert. Especially if it's a long flight, you're going on something that's like 5-6 hours, 10 hours. Some of these flights are 12 hours. Yeah, it's a long time. And it's a long time to be, again, you got people who are never flown before. It can be messy. So, when you're doing these things, I mean, like we all do, like always have a plan. You got to plan a restaurant, you got to plan, in a bus, just look around, pay attention. And then chances are, I mean, look, like I suck flying to California because I don't really sleep on the plane. I'm trying to I think maybe next time. I've been flying my daughter out on the red eye, and now I kind of see the genius of it, if you will. Because if you come in, you fly in the middle of the night, especially going coast to coast. She picks up 3 hours. It's at night. She can sleep. If you're tired, your body normally clocks out. You can sleep on the plane, and when you get here, it's like, okay, you got the full day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not all messed up with jet lag and no sleep and
doesn't matter, right? So and then going back, you kind of pick up the extra hours, but it doesn't. It's only technically a 3-hour flight. But yeah, so I mean, stuff like this always around us, right? Everywhere. So, anyway, so the next one. I don't know if you guys saw this. There's a stabbing on a New York City playground. They still haven't caught these kids. And there's something they do. So let me just do wait. This no, this is a different one. Sorry. But that's fine. We're good with this one too. As my ads keep coming up. This is the we'll have the other one. The other New York City stabbing. This is the shit that's going on. Some of the stuff that's going on in New York now.
I thought New York was like the best place ever now with Mamdani.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, it's great. So I don't know. Understand Swiss terrorist who shouted Allahu Akbar before stabbing 3 men in crowded train station has ties to ISIS. Then cops probably should be cop set. So crazed knife men shouted Allahu Akbar and stabbed 3 men in front of school children at a Swiss train station Thursday morning. This is in New York. This was in the Post. Authorities believe the attacker's rampage is a heinous act of terrorism. The madman, 31-year-old Turkish-Swiss citizen, stabbed 3 men with a bladed weapon just after 8:30 a.m. at the Winterthur train station outside Zurich, and the Zurich Cantonal Police said. I can't even read. One witness told outlet Blick that the man shouted Allahu Akbar 5 or 6 times in a very emotional, agitated manner, and 3 men aged 28, 43, and 52 were injured. The 52-year-old underwent surgery, the thigh. 43-year-old suffered a neck injury, since been released. It looks like everybody survived. Um, so that was him. Here we go. Okay. So, yeah, was it a Swiss Army knife? quite possible. So, yeah, that's awesome. You know, I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. It's like, you know, there's things happening constantly, you know, and, you know, we are, you know, under attack. I can't, you know, and we talked about this, you know, we talked about this last week, you know, when you're looking at, you know, how they're looking, you know, how the, you know, how, let's just say, certain Islam practitioners view the world. It's not one of assimilation. And what's happening is that you're getting people, who knows, it doesn't matter if this guy has got real ties to ISIS or, you know, joined an ISIS fan club. It's
in the end, it doesn't matter, right? So,
yeah,
he's been weaponized. And that's where, I mean, we're having a very good conversation with some friends over the weekend who, definitely his wife is very, you know, definitely liberal, you know, but I'm like, you know, when we're talking, I'm like, let's first talk about what we agree on, right? And a lot of things are the same things. I mean, the only thing I'd go for me is that she's Jewish, you know, so I'm like, you know, okay, so, you know, we talked about, you know, what's happening in assimilation and, you know, how, you know, it's, you know, our rights, you know, and our way of living and our freedoms, quote unquote, you know, isn't a suicide pact, right? You're like, you know, we're allowing you to exercise your religion, but then, you know, as soon as it comes in with the conflict of the Constitution, there's a problem, right? But now you've got a group of people who have a mindset that, you know, it's Sharia law. It is, you know, everyone else is an infidel. You know, and this will be, you know, even like saying these things is, you know, anti-Islamic or Islamophobic, but honestly, it's right there, and that's what they tell you. You know, so, you know, when you're seeing things like this, it's not, you know, again, whether this guy is, you know, a fanboy or actual, you know, I would think if he was an actual, you know, ISIS, you know, or he would probably have a gun or a bomb. You know what I mean? I just think, you know, picking up a random edge weapon. But still, this is happening in Switzerland, right? Not New York, not, you know, Iraq, or this is in Switzerland. This is happening in, you know, all over Europe. I mean, I know we've got, you know, some of our instructors that are in Germany,
Yep.
UK, you know, and it's constant. I mean, and they're like, and people are feeling, you know, not just disenfranchised, just literally invaded. You know, I don't know, there's something happened with, and I know I'm going to get this wrong, so don't kill me. There's a woman in Germany that got raped, and then, you know, I don't know if she posted about it or talked about it, but I think the rapist got less of a crime than she did for them talking about it on social media. Just something insane like that. And that's where, you know, you have the one thing we talk about, you know, judges, right? There's a thing called, you know, legislation from the bench, where, and if you've gone through any court proceedings anytime, I mean, you could get, you know, like they can rule wildly, and you're, you know, based on, loosely based on, or what their interpretation is, and, you know, this is why, and then to get something appealed is like extremely difficult because essentially, like you're looking at, like, look, you've got lawyers and judges, and a judge is a lawyer who knows a politician, and in some cases, you don't even have to be a lawyer, to be a judge. You just have to know a politician and you get appointed. So you're getting somebody who is definitely politically charged, and if they're not,
even if they're not getting appointed, they had to run a campaign to get elected.
a lot of them, yes, yeah.
So
Yeah.
either way, it's still political.
Political. Yeah. So, you'll get people who are looking to just keep their seat and either stay in line with the party or, get reelected. Either way, same thing. And you get some crazy, crazy, crazy rulings.
Yeah, I saw this headline a couple of days ago, and it was this dad chucking this chair at this judge because this guy had killed his daughter, and the guy got 120 hours of community service.
What?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And he was not happy about it.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know what to say about that.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
That's
3 weeks of community service for killing somebody. I think it was murder. I think that's what or it was like manslaughter or something like that. But either way, it doesn't matter what it was. If it happened to a little kid,
yeah,
it should have been more than 120 hours of community service.
Hold on, wait. I'm looking. I gotta look it up. So
yeah.
Piper Lewis, 22 year, 2025 Australia. Okay, here it is. Okay, yeah. All right, I'm gonna share. Because I heard something about this. I know it sucks. It's like there's just so much. Okay. Father's intense reaction made headlines after he threw a chair at a judge following the sentence of his daughter's killer. The court had sentenced the individual to just 120 hours of community service, which many, including the victim's family, felt was unjustly lenient punishment for such a heinous crime. The father, visibly distraught and enraged by what perceived as an inadequate sentence, stormed the courtroom in a moment of intense grief and anger. This emotional outburst has sparked widespread debate about the justice system and the impact of seemingly light sentences for serious offenses. Many have
seemingly light sentence.
Yeah.
120 hours is seemingly light.
Many have expressed their outrage over the perceived lack of accountability, questioning whether such a punishment truly serves justice or brings closure to grieving families. The incident also highlights the emotional toll that the legal process can take on victims' families who often feel the justice system fails to deliver meaningful consequences for those responsible for tragic loss.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this? So I'm looking. I'm like, is this AI? I'm like, I gotta see the. Hold on. Father's reaction. It's a daughter's killer.
But then there's no I don't see a link.
I'm trying to see if it is legit or not. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, there's a father in Dutch. So
in 2014, that was 13 years ago, almost 12 years ago.
So the judge who killed us for only 20 hours community service followed public backlash as the court's initial ruling was overturned. The driver's sentence was significantly increased to 15 months in prison for a 4-year driving ban. Okay, so I think this
sounds like a DUI.
Sounds like a DUI or it just sounds like a DUI. It sounds like somebody, accident. It sounds like a car accident.
Yeah.
Really. So yeah, that sucks. That's awful. But, I don't know if you're watching, what was it? John Gotti's kid got killed in a car accident. And yeah, the guy who did it's no longer around. So, and then do you see the show Rescue Me?
Long time ago, maybe.
It's on Netflix again. I don't know if you have Netflix. I don't think you do.
I don't.
It's on Netflix again. It's really, really good. Especially being a firefighter. Yeah, there's a lot like
Oh yeah, firefighters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
okay.
firefighters like a couple years after 9/11. It's really good. They get a lot of the firematic things right. There's sometimes like you're like, oh, why does everyone's hood on? Or, these guys are really waiting to put their gloves on and shit like that. But, for the most part, it's probably, if you're looking at like, you have to look at the time. And if you get like old school firemen, they will never put their mask on. Right. And they'll just breathe in that shit. Because they're like, this is how we do it. We wore jeans, like big turnout coats, high boots, and like, yeah, we don't give a shit. We wore fucking pussy hoods. So, you still would get that kind of carryover to the younger guys. But for the most part, like, there's a lot of times like, dude, if it's pushing smoke, you scot up. I mean, and then you go. Like, you don't ever not have your gloves on. You're kind of useless without them. Can't do anything. So, there's all stuff like that. But for the most part, it's funny. And then, it's got a good mix of it. So anyway, so the character in her, Dennis Leary, his son gets hit by a car, and then Uncle Teddy comes out and shoots the guy. He's a drunk driver. So, yeah, they wind up, and then Teddy becomes a hero, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so yeah. So, I mean, you're looking at stuff where it's like, yeah, here you have an accident. But now we see this child murdered. Correct. We're thinking it's some, deranged, like lunatic, torturing and kidnapping a kid, and it's, kid could have ran out in the street.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I'm like,
I think in those situations, there should be a lot of emphasis put on what the family wants. Like I knew this kid when I was in Utah, and he was texting and driving and killed a family.
Oh,
yeah.
And it was like one family. It was like the mom and a couple of the kids, and then they had one friend in the car. So the remaining family that survived, that was left, they were like, hey, like, we don't need to destroy this kid's life anymore. He's going to be living with this forever. Like, we just want to go away. You want it to go away, kind of thing.
yeah.
The other family, though, that had the friend in the car, they were like, put this guy in jail, like, throw the book at him, blah, 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 blah. And so I don't remember exactly what sentence he ended up getting, but it was like lighter than what it would have been, because the one family was like, hey, like, we don't want to ruin his life as much because, like, the death happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the other family's like, no, he needs punishment. And so I think he ended up getting a sentence still, but it was like much reduced than what it could have been.
I mean, you think about something you probably do like, I don't know, 100 times a month. Nothing. And then one time your world is shit.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, and everybody's, let's just say, whatever. You say, I don't do it, but whatever. Everybody's doing it.
Everybody's done it.
Everybody's done it. Yes. And, and it's like, yeah, it's so hard because, if that were my kid, I'd be like, I want you dead. But then I'm like, for what, maybe this person turns into, you better turn out great.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to keep my fucking eye on you, man.
Yeah.
And if you turn out to be an asshole, you're done. You're going to get delayed sentencing. But I'm like, you better,
yeah, I mean, and I could definitely see like a delayed sentencing kind of probation thing for sure,
Yeah. You better like get like, you better fucking like cure cancer or some shit. So, I'm like, because, I'm losing my mind. But yeah, that's why it's like I worry, when, you ride motorcycles now, you just got to pay extra attention.
Yep.
Jogging on the street, I rarely run on the road. There's only certain times in certain places I will, because that's like, people going to work, the fucking, now they got one extra thing. Before it was like bagel hanging out of their mouth, coffee, radio. Now it's bagel, radio, coffee, phone.
Yep.
You know, so now it's like it's more shit to not, you know, think about when they're driving. So yeah, yeah, it's freaking, you know, it's, you know, you just got to be careful. So like,
You know, and even the hands-free shit, people are constantly still looking. You're still distracted because you're still looking at
Yeah.
that phone.
because if I'm yelling at my phone, I'm like, you motherfucker. You know, it's like I want you to know. Like, no, what's coming on there? Like, holy crap, man. Yeah. So that's where the you know, I just, you know, yeah, it's, oh man, why do we have kids, Josh?
So we can keep the world going, man.
Right. So vulnerable. So vulnerable. Why? You know, I'm thinking about it. My daughter's in California. I'm like, I lose my mind. I'm like, I don't even think about it.
So I mean, okay, let's go back to, you know, the human species is the only one that like changes its environment, right? Well,
Yeah.
we also have offspring that are literally incapable of fending for themselves until they're like 10, 12, 13. You know what I mean?
5.
You know, so it's like we had to change the environment just so that our offspring could live.
Dude, I've been seeing people who, like, you know, can't take care of themselves now and they're fucking 25, 30.
Right.
We're like the species in general, not like modern capability.
Speaking of the species going completely fucking downhill, do either of you guys watch or have, like, you probably watched Fear Factor in the past, but are you watching the new Fear Factor at all? Or
With Johnny
I didn't even know
Knoxville
there was a
Yeah.
new one.
in the house? No, I haven't.
people are just fucking stupid. Like, that's all I can say. You know,
Right.
milking cows with just their mouth, you know.
Yeah, they were doing stuff. I mean, when you hear Rogan talk about, like, they did some stuff with, like, you know, donkey semen.
Yep.
And so I'm like, why? Like, is any of this necessary? No. It's funny because he thought he was always going to get fired from it.
And there was one, you know, like some chick had taken like fucking 10 like snake bites or something. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's crazy. Yeah, dude. No, I mean, again, people.
So remember in the original Fear Factor, the guy who was the producer of it, he came out and actually said that like everything that they picked for them to eat was like a legitimate, like you could legitimately consume it, and they boiled everything, so it was like safe to eat, but it was just disgusting and unflavored. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it was basically like that's how it is. And
okay.
so he was like, but he's like, we take safety precautions. Like these are people that like we want to make sure are safe, you know?
So that was pasteurized donkey semen.
But now, like, but that's what I'm saying. That was the old one. I don't know what's happening now.
Yeah. Yeah. So this other story before we knock off. This is what I was thinking about. I got them confused. New York City, they still haven't found these guys. New York NYPD launches manhunt for sweater swapping goons who shot up the NYC playground. So apparently these 2 kids in the picture shot up a playground with a handgun, and then they decided to swap sweaters because one, I guess, kind of looks black, the other one looks white. So now they had a white guy in a blue sweat, you know, they kind of like white guy in a blue sweatshirt, blue guy, you know, black guy in a red sweatshirt. Oh no, they switched. So that foiled police. The NYPD is looking for a pair of gun-toting thugs who riddled a Bronx playground with bullets. What else would it be? And took off in a getaway car. The 2 caught swapping sweaters on police surveillance video. The shooters approached a group of people at Bathgate Playground shortly after 5 p.m. One of the goons pulling out a gun and firing several rounds before running off, police said Sunday. Cops said the bullets miraculously missed the people in the park, but said suspects now are wanted for reckless endangerment charges. NYPD surveillance. That's the kids there. And there's the park. 2 fled on foot and hopped into a waiting dark-colored sedan speeding off Bathgate Avenue.
So they got these pictures and they can't fucking get them. Like, can't find them. Like,
Right.
Jesus.
Shooters wore a red sweater over a black shirt with black pants and black sneakers. Second wore a light blue sweater with white shirt, and then they just took off the sweater. Okay. Yeah. So Video clip shows them taking off their sweaters and exchanging them as they cross the street. Yeah, I just looked at this the other day. Here's a video. All right. So I just looked at this the other day. And they still haven't caught him. Yeah. So yeah, randomly, it's happening everywhere. And by the way, point of note, New York City's got really strict gun control laws.
Oh yeah.
So,
New York State does. New York City's even worse.
yeah. I mean, New York State, it's easier to get it was always easier to get a carry permit, especially upstate. Yeah, but the city's insane. And in this, we need stricter gun laws, man. How many times do you hear that shit every day? And they're like, we have them.
Yeah.
They're just, you can't enforce them. You can, but it's without doing literally stop and frisk on every street and everywhere in the country. They're like, well, how can you get them? I'm like, dude, you can buy heroin today if you really wanted to, without knowing anyone how to do it. You don't have to go on the dark web. I mean, you start with, Craigslist. Shit. You can find it. You can find anything you want. It's like drugs still, very much accessible in the U.S. All of it, Schedule 1, very illegal. That's always crack up where people are like, well, you're ban guns. And again, that's the insanity. And they're like, yeah, ask every of the citizens in Iran if they would, if they like the fact that they have gun control and no guns.
Yeah.
So, forget about that. Even if you stopped manufacturing guns today, there would be such a massive black market because all you need is basically metal and a milling machine, and you're off to the freaking races. Besides 3D printers, CAD machines, milling machines, I mean, all this stuff legal to own, and people be cranking them out for pennies. They would be actually cheap. I mean, the cost
Probably.
I mean, the black market would drive the cost up a bit, but yeah. It's like, no, it doesn't have to make gunpowder, lead, and making rounds is no big deal. I mean, how many people have? There's probably like, I don't know, 100,000, reloaders. I'm being very, I'm being very conservative with that.
Yeah, probably.
How many people can reload their own rounds? How many people love doing it?
A lot of people.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
How many people, can already build their own firearm?
Yeah.
A lot of people. Shit, it's done. It's already out there. You're not going to change it. And then how forget it. What you're giving up to get that is ridiculous when in reality you can just have more people armed. And the most people who say, oh, you shouldn't be armed are people who've never fired a gun in their fucking life. They think it's like the Wild West. They think it's like this. I'm like, yeah, so there are people, morons that have guns? Yeah, absolutely.
Or they're super, super liberal for whatever reason. Yeah. Like what Jason Statham and what's his name? A bunch of those dudes. Or like they make their money on
the dudes with that use guns in every fucking movie.
Yeah. But by the way, guns are bad.
Yeah, right.
Literally glorify like firearms and doing cool shit with them. I'm like, you are way part of the problem, because holy crap. I mean, thank God I didn't hear Keanu Reeves saying anything.
That's what you never hear Keanu Reeves, because he knows what he's doing.
Yes. Yeah.
He's very skilled.
Yeah. I mean, really. And and that's where you're like, these fucking people, it's like, porno actors coming out against sex. It's like, I just, what are you talking about? No. Morons. They really, the times I got like, people that are like, oh, why don't you just, create better gun laws with an ad? So we literally respond with first, our niece, and this is a fact, was at Stoneman Douglas. And this is the reason why we created this. So instead of trolling people trying to help protect people, we could have just done what you did and just, posted comments. that usually, gets them. Oh, I didn't know. It's like, shut up, asshole. It's like you don't. Oh God, I don't know. Anyway, so what do you guys got going on this weekend?
I'll be recovering from camp.
I'll be trying to figure out if we can get that raccoon down.
Nice. Yeah, I gotta get tires for my kid's Jeep, and it's gotta get serviced so it can survive another 50,000 miles. Oh yeah, I mean the Jeep we have, it's like it's part of the family. So I'm like, yeah,
sounds like life is happening.
Yes, life is happening. Yeah, and my daughter comes in next week, so the 10th, so that's cool. So she'll be home for a week. That'll be fun. And we got some other cool shit going on. So hopefully I have some big news in a few weeks. I don't know. All right. That's it. I want to thank everybody. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Clayton. Those are the only two guys that commented tonight. Thank you.
We had GR2MNH.
Oh, yeah, GR2WI2NH. Yeah, thank you for posting. Again, everybody, thank you for joining us. And until next time, train honestly.